people were not the only ones discriminated against in America. I know they'd like you to believe that they were, but they're not, right? I, as an Italian American, when Italians came over here, we were heavily discriminated against. We were shoved into ghettos. We weren't allowed to work certain jobs. We were looked down upon because of where we came from, right? The Irish, they came over as indentured servants. It didn't matter how much they worked because guess what? They weren't going to see that money anyway. So how exactly were they supposed to build generational wealth? You had Jewish people who were fleeing from the horrors of the Holocaust that didn't have a dime to their name. They had nothing and they were heavily persecuted due to their religion and due to their culture, right? And they figured it out. Each and every single one of those groups was able to figure it out because we put an emphasis on things like education, family, community, making a better life for ourselves rather than just sitting there and crying about the cards that we were dealt. I get it. It's not fair, and there are bad things in America's history, but we are not back in our history. But if we just sit there, then we are never going to advance. You are not the victim that you have delusioned yourself to be. And there are a lot of problems within the Black community and their culture and what they put an emphasis on and how they dress and how they speak and what they think is important to them, and that is why they're still where they're at. And I don't say this out of hate. I say it because they could be so much more and they should be, and I want to see that for them. I want to see this better future for them, but it's going to have to take a lot of self-reflection and accountability in order for them to get there.
Welcome back. I wanted to address a video that I saw on TikTok. It's basically this Italian MAGA fool that is looking for Black outrage. She curates her content to be a ultra contrarian. She picks topics that she knows that, will have people talking. It irritates people because it's lies. She does these videos where it's close up on her face and she's basically talking fast. She gives no context for anything. I guess MAGA wasn't supporting her, so she had to go to the tried and true, irritate Black people and see if you can get them to make you go viral and stir you up and put you out there, because when Black people talk about something, everyone listens. Now, these MAGA racists can never, ever put their ideals and values on social media for the people that have their same values and ideals and get the engagement they want. MAGA doesn't even want to hear this. It's always shots towards Black people, just like K-pop groups. They can't see success without swaggerjacking Black people. Hair, style, rhythm, they can't totally, copy that. Beats, lyrics, all of that. They had to literally steal the blueprint and try and copy that shit to see success. Insane. But to address this asinine psychopath, she has "You're the problem" across the video. First of all, this video is specifically targeted toward Black people. So basically she's saying we're the problem, and there's a lot of backwood, toothless, hillbilly, racist MAGAs all in the comment section. They're blaming Obama for the gas prices and the egg prices, and I just want to know, have those egg prices gone down? Or before he took $1 million bombs and blew up pictures painted on rock of helicopters and tanks, were they going down? But this fork-tongued snake said that Black people were not the only ones discriminated against, and there is not a video, there is not an article, there is not a meme that you can find where Black people are saying that we are the only one that has been discriminated against. Usually we say to POCs, yes, you were discriminated against, marginalized, and experienced racism, but you have not experienced what we have experienced in this land, America. So we have always acknowledged the discrimination, but we are the only ones that experienced antebellum chattel slavery and all its atrocities. We did not get housing after serving in the military with the GI Bill. Those who served were hung in their uniforms. Neighborhoods were burnt down. We all know what's under Lake Lanier. Land was stolen, houses taken, redline, denied loans, sharecropping, slavery by another name, which basically my uncles, aunts, and parents did. So yeah, she wants to sit up here and run her mouth as if their experience was our experience. She's a fucking fool. And She should walk around with clown makeup on because that's exactly what she is. They didn't experience 1/18th of what Black people went through. And like I said, these are my family members who were sharecroppers. That wasn't that long ago. Like, I can't even speak about all of the atrocities that happened from the study of gynecology, and we know what that was about, the gator bait, having picnics, the delectable Negro, the leather shoes from our skin, the chairs. They tell us to get over that. You see the people over there who are doing so many sick atrocities, even taking children's lives, and they're saying, oh, remember what happened to us. You can't make this shit up. So she wanted to talk about how Italians were heavily discriminated against, even though if you're Black and you go to Italy, the way that they treat you. Italy is one of the countries that I have heard the most not to travel to because of how absolutely disgusting it is over there if a Black person went to Italy. And I concur. After hearing all of the horror stories, there's some people who said they had a good time. I'm happy for them. But no. I would never. She basically is saying they came over here and were discriminated against. They were in the ghetto. She tried to make it seem like they were kind of equal to being enslaved, and they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, focused on their families, focused on education, and, they just forged ahead. Again, did not have neighborhoods burnt down, resources stolen, homes stolen, redlined, denied loans. None of that happened to them. Italians assimilated into colorlessness in America. You look extremely pale, not like the tan immigrants that came here. She's so effing stupid. She can't even just Google. Like, you can Google this stuff. It doesn't even have to take you that long. It's not like you have to go to a library and check out a book. You can if you want to. You can use the scholarly journals. There's so much at your fingertips. You should not be this damn stupid. But the Irish came here as indentured servants that had to work the length of their contract, most of the time 7 years. Then they would get the resources agreed upon. She doesn't know shit. There was even someone who was Irish who told her she needs to shut up. They were not slaves. They were indentured servants. And at the end of their time that they served, I call it a contract, that they got resources and land and homes and all of that. So an Irish person checked her. Indentured servitude is not slavery, and they're trying to equate the two. And let's be honest, the Irish were the first police officers, aka slave catchers. So they assimilated as well as Jews assimilated. Jews received reparations from Germany for the Holocaust and from America too, for something that had nothing to do with America, but go figure. Black people were abiding by the Separate but Equal Act when Black Wall Street got burned to the ground. The massacre happened. The thriving Black town was looted, burned, and bombed by this government and jealous ass colorless people. Lake Lanier in Oscarville, Georgia, the submerged Black town. Rosewood, Florida. Let's actually take a look at this. It's a list of Black American towns. 1831. Portsmouth, Ohio. All 80 residents were expelled under Ohio's discriminatory Black laws. And this is from the 1870s to 1940s. Here we go. Michigan. Expelled. 1873. Small Black population left the town after the massacre of more than 100 Blacks. So it's probably more than that, not just 100. It goes through the years, and it just shows you how many Black towns were taken over, how many homes, how much land, how much was lost year after year after year. And this is just starting at 1830 and going on and on and on into the 20th century. It never stopped. Every damn year. And I don't know why it stops at 1950, because that's not, I know of more after 1950, but it's so many. I'm guessing that, because somebody just couldn't do them all. So yeah, but we need to leave the past in the past, and we're the reason why racism keeps going on, and we just need to forget about, you know, all of the massacres and the murders and, you know, the stolen resources, properties, homes, lands. We need to forget about that and stop bringing it up, and it doesn't matter. That's what these people think about you. They think that it is insidious how they treat Black people and talk about our history, saying we've suffered some of the most heinous shit. And it's so horrific that they don't want it to be taught in the schools. They don't want it brought up. It's shameful, it's wicked, it's evil. It would probably, some of the stuff that's hidden would make your stomach turn. It is the equivalent to the Epstein files, kinda. I think it's worse, but to sit up here and look, oh, they were doing this with children, with girls, and they made them do this, and there was accusations of them hunting us for sport, and they're sitting up here like, oh my God, grabbing their pearls. Really? Really? That is as American as apple pie. And this dumb, oh my God, this dumb female is sitting up here trying to act like we've had it on easy street. Everything has been great. This is why I don't have a care to give when things happen to them and their children. But this dumb female said they figured it out. What she actually said, you hear what she says in the video, but what she's actually saying is, and this was something important that I think it kind of opened my eyes a little more about what the problem is specifically with Black people and the reason why they get more aggressive and more heinous and more nasty and more mean. I mean, it gives me an answer for that, because this dumb female said they figured it out. Yeah, they did figure it out, but what they had to do was they gave up their culture, and they gave up everything that makes them them as an ethnicity, and they assimilated into colorlessness. Colorlessness did not just strip away our identity. They had to give up their culture and ethnicity to be confederate in colorlessness and to be a part of that. And I think that is that thing that pisses them off about us, because to have what they had came at a great cost to them. They're empty inside. They are not a full person with a full culture, with a full identity. And it makes me think back of when people would say, yeah, I know where I'm from, this land and here, but you are so fucking far removed from it that you're a dead person walking. You're empty. You don't have your culture. All you have is colorlessness, and it kills them to see us be happy after everything that we went through, because we still have, we got things stripped away from us, but we still have our essence and who we are, and that couldn't be killed. But they had to kill it inside of themselves to have access to colorlessness and everything that comes with it. With her talking about she pulled herself by her bootstraps, yeah, because you received resources and reparations that Black people never received, and we still ended up clawing and scratching our way up when they had hundreds of years of a head start. That's sad. They have literally gone 360, not 180, turning things around for each other. Oh no, they went 360 and they ended up right back where they were when they were running away from Europe, trying to get the monarchy's boot off their neck. Now they have these billionaires and companies with the boot on their neck. It's funny to me, actually. It's funny just to find yourself in the same predicament that you were years ago, what your parents, grandparents were running from. That's crazy. But with us, we didn't care about education, but we have HBCUs, the same school that let in Korean immigrants that your colorless schools wouldn't, but they want to be your pets. Crazy to me. Families are being destroyed right now. Violence, guns in schools, taking out children's lives, people using their guns on their spouse, ripping the family apart. This looks like karma to me. Drugs. The drug epidemic in their community is off the chain. Grandparents taking care of their grandchildren. They put drugs in our community, guns in our community. We didn't have to take up the mantle and do it. We hold some accountability, but they knew what they were doing to a people who never recovered from what they were going through and have been in survival mode. They destroyed Black families, you know, the war on drugs and all of that. And look at them now. Now, because of who it is and who is the face of the drug epidemic, it's not being pushed as much. But now it's classified as a medical issue. She wants to talk about having a sense of community when they have redlined. There's been land theft, destroyed towns, stolen wealth. What effing community? You took everything from the community. Now, if you really listen to this demoness, she said our culture, how we speak and act is why we are still where we are. As if this system is not designed to do what their forefathers designed it to do, and how they have maintained the upkeep of this system their forefathers created for them. Now, when I tell you, I just want to see nothing but the worst thing possible for these pieces of ish. I mean that with everything in me. I get a sense of joy from their pain. Looking at this oppressed colorless woman, because everybody want to say, oh, they were suppressed too. Their men had their boots on their neck. Their men, you know, I don't want to hear that bullshit. I don't. Because she is saying, I listened to this a couple of times, she's saying that when Black people will not assimilate and will not give up our essence to try to be in proximity to colorlessness, that is why we are still where we are and why they won't stop. Because we will not do what the Italians did to access whiteness, what Latinos have done to access whiteness, what Asians have done to access whiteness, what Indians have done to access whiteness. This is why we are treated the way we are and held down and oppressed, and why they'll do a little bit for other people and sing the praises of other people. But specifically for us in this nation, because of our essence, and we have not lost who we are, to assimilate into this nation, to go by the rules that they want to set for us, and you know, they want to do what they want to do, and we should be okay with that. This is why we are where we are, and they treat us the way they do. And how effing wicked is this troglodyte? This witch is a part of a people group that ate Black people's flesh, made chairs with our hair, made pocket books, leather shoes, leather belts, and other accessories with our skin, come to lands and stole gold and trafficked young girls like Epstein. And that is someone who has a holiday in this land, Christopher Columbus. He was a first Jeffrey Epstein that bumped into the Americas, which isn't even the Americas, but we're not going to go there. Took out whole groups of people off the earth. Nobody holds the title and trophy for doing that. Just taking an eraser and erasing a whole group of people and doing it multiple times. They have the FN audacity to point and look at Black people as if they don't have a hand in our condition and continue to terrorize the Black community. I hope that this piece of trash, her little demon spawns, and all the MAGA supporters, Zionist, racist, anti-Black pieces of shit get what they deserve soon. I'll end this by saying this is a cry for help and not a hit piece against Black people. Her and all the MAGA supporters know soon they'll have to deal with the consequences of their action. They know with every act there's an equal or greater reaction. They're bracing for impact. They are raging against Black people because they see the writing on the wall. Don't take it personally. They're on the Titanic and they're responsible for their own downfall. Instead of having some grace, like the musicians who were playing as the ship sank, instead of having grace like that, they're crashing out. Let them and enjoy. And I will see you in the next one.